Hello, I'm Jim Bratton. Today I want to talk about safety during bridge construction work. Bridge construction workers share many of the hazards associated with highway and street construction, including exposure to slips, trips, and falls, vehicular traffic, construction equipment, falling or flying objects, and material handling. In bridge work, these hazards are magnified because the work may be at heights or in a constricted work environment. Public traffic may be confined to one or two lanes, putting the vehicles and construction workers and equipment in close proximity to one another. Bridge construction work is also very labor-intensive, involving lifting, pushing, pulling, stooping, bending, and material handling. In addition, materials and objects may fall and become potentially fatal projectiles. Any accident that occurs at heights could be compounded by the added possibility of a fall, possibly a fatal one. We will discuss bridge construction work safety in the context of Focus 4+1 hazards: falls, struck-bys, caught-in-betweens, electrocutions, and soft tissue injuries. We will also explain methods of controlling these hazards so that you will be prepared to do your job safely and help eliminate risk to you and to your coworkers. Falls from elevations are a major contributor to injuries on bridge projects. A fall into water could be fatal due to impact or drowning. Tasks that put workers at risk of falls include abutment, column or cap forming and stripping, girder installation, deck placement, forming barrier rail, placement of concrete, and paving. Falls also may occur during bad weather, especially if ice and snow cover bridge surfaces. Falls can occur at any level. Even seemingly minor slips and trips may result in abrasions, contusions, fractures, or death. Bridge construction workers may be struck by passing vehicles or construction equipment, falling objects, suspended or moving loads, concrete buckets or concrete during column pours, and flying objects from impact tools like grinders, chippers, and jackhammers. When moving materials, the unexpected can easily happen. Installing pans, railings, and other items presents the opportunity for dropped items striking workers. A sudden gust of wind, too, may blow materials and strike a worker. Even a small piece of material can cause injury. Bridge construction work involves cranes and other heavy equipment. Being pinned and crushed between that equipment and a stationary object, such as a parked truck or bridge pier, is unfortunately too common in highway work. In addition, workers loading or unloading materials may be exposed to pinch points, and many workers may be at risk of a possible excavation cave-in. Any of these caught-in exposures can lead to serious injuries, including amputations, severe crushing injuries, or even death. Workers in bridge construction face many of the electrical hazards associated with roadwork sites, including exposure to electrical equipment, underground and overhead power lines, and lightning strikes. Bridge construction work requires lots of climbing, lifting, carrying, bending, pushing, and pulling. Setting forms and using tools, including shovels, hammers, wrenches, and wire tools, can all lead to sore, irritated, or damaged soft tissues. Excessive vibration can cause soft tissue injuries as well. The hazards we've just discussed, falls, struck-bys, caught-in-betweens, electrocutions, and soft tissue injuries can be prevented in bridge work. The key to protecting yourself includes your knowledge and use of engineering controls, administrative controls, and personal protective equipment in that order. Engineering controls used to reduce fall exposures may include maintaining guardrails at all elevated work areas, keeping walking and working surfaces free of mud and other slippery materials, ensuring that ladders, scaffolds, and steps are in place and in good repair, and using steps with non-skid surfaces. To help reduce struck-by hazards, provide proper systems of traffic control, and ensure the use of backup alarms or proximity warning devices. Good housekeeping can help minimize the potential for dangerous flying or falling objects. Caught-in-betweens, another serious hazard in bridge operations, can be prevented by using sloping, trench boxes, or shoring to prevent soils collapse, and machine guards to eliminate pinch points. Electrical exposures can be controlled by contacting utilities to de-energize or mark overhead power lines for increased visibility, and proper maintenance and grounding of tools and equipment. Exposure to soft tissue injuries can be reduced by using mechanical assistance to move heavy materials and tools. Administrative controls focus on implementing safe work procedures, such as planning and communicating separation between workers and equipment, and worker rotation. It's also important to plan material and equipment movement in advance of the work. Rigging should be inspected, and workers should be warned when loads may pass overhead. Administrative controls also include an emphasis on safe work practices to avoid potentially hazardous exposures. To prevent falls, walk with care on muddy, wet, or uneven surfaces. When climbing on or off a truck or construction equipment, use the steps and handholds. To prevent struck-by incidents, always be aware of your surroundings and watch for moving equipment. Use spotters when working around backing equipment or overhead power lines. Watch for pinch points on forms, machines, and equipment, and when loading and unloading materials. Also, make sure materials are stored securely. Loads have a tendency to shift, injuring workers as they try to access the materials. Prepare for work by stretching to help protect yourself from soft tissue injury. Perform as much work as possible at waist height. This helps prevent bending. Avoid poor posture and awkward positions, and change positions frequently. The final method of hazard control in the hierarchy of controls is personal protective equipment. When you're working on a bridge site, always wear basic protection: sturdy boots, safety glasses, hard hat, and high visibility clothing. Wear eye, face, and head protection to prevent injuries from falling or flying objects. If you do a lot of lifting and carrying, wear gloves and shoulder pads. Knee pads can be helpful too. When at elevations, always wear a personal fall arrest system. Inspect the equipment before use. Be sure that you're trained to properly use a PFAS, personal fall arrest system. Bridge construction can expose workers to many hazards: working at heights, handling heavy materials and equipment, traffic, and varying environmental conditions. Other safety issues, such as safety in crane operations, rigging, fall protection, and trenching, pose additional hazards and require further and more task-specific training. By paying attention to controls for traffic, as well as the safe work practices discussed in this program, you can help avoid injury and improve safety and productivity in your workplace. Remember, wherever and whenever you're working, do your best to stay safe. It's part of your job, and you owe it to yourself and your family.